Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is The Book Break. Today I'm at Ex-Wife's Place, here talking to an author who also happens to be the manager, Michelle Cori. Let's go talk to her. Joining me today is author Michelle Cori.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about her very interesting book, The Kind Mosaic. And this is a series, right, Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so tell me about the background of this book.
The very first book is called The Convergent Lines. It's this one right here. It is my origin story for witches. I was kind of tired of witches not having order or guidelines.
Yeah.
Whereas like a vampire, I could pick up a vampire, I could pick up Lestat and put him in the middle of Twilight. He makes sense.
Right.
I can do that with werewolves. But witches don't really have any rhyme or reason to them. For example, in Harry Potter, a muggle can have a witch born, which doesn't make a lot of sense, the variation of power and what can happen. I wanted to make some sort of rules and guidelines for witches, so I looked to mythology and history and just culture to come up with an idea, and that's where The Kind Mosaic started. There are 2 books out. The second one out, Cador's Curse. I am expecting to do the 3rd one later this year, and it's going to be called Diluted Lines. And this is the tarot card that I'm slowly building that goes with the series.
So are you illustrating these yourself?
Yes, all of these are illustrated by me. Some have people, and the cool thing is each one, when somebody purchases a book from me, this is their bookmark, and it has their fortune on the back. And each fortune is directly linked to the card that they draw. So I'm up to about 12 at this point. So I'm working on the major, and when I'm done with the major, I'm moving on to the cups.
Can they buy all of these tarot
When I'm done with the whole series, I'm going to do that, and then I'll actually have a book and a cloth that goes with it.
Oh,
It'll
cool.
have the eye,
Yeah.
the triangle on it.
Yeah.
And then I'm very happy today, my 4th book became available today. I have another series which is very brand new. It came out 2 months ago. It's called The Forgotten Ones.
And they can get that on Amazon, right?
They can get that on Amazon. So I call that one a supernatural thriller, kind of a thriller noir, but it definitely has a noir. It's not very much like anything out there. It's kind of along the lines of like Harry Dresden, but what I wanted to see is what would happen if you had a full police department, a homicide department. So it's like a procedural homicide encountering the supernatural, and it's a slow build where they're encountering strange things. And I'm not going to go with the typical vampires and witches and that. These 2 do exist in the same world, and there is a character that goes back and forth between them.
Oh, cool.
So
now, do they have to have read one series to understand the other?
No.
Okay.
The other series, the newer series, is best done in order, but this particular series you can pick up at anywhere.
So the second book is Cador's Curse?
Yeah, Cador's Curse, yeah.
Cador's Curse. So if I started with that, I could still read The
Yes.
Kind Mosaic in a different order and it's
Yes.
slower. That's pretty good, because a lot of series you can't necessarily do that.
Yeah, my second series I intentionally kind of I wanted to do a discovery timeline. So if you came in on like the 4th book, it would be weird.
Yeah.
But after these first 4 are done, if you were to start at like book 6, I'll have it to where it'll make sense.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do an arc that's a discovery that you dip your foot into and understand. And the first one of those is called Concealed Path, and the second book that came out today is called Diverging Path. I'm about 4 years into my writing. This year I've had 2 books. I'm planning on another one in the other series that comes out. It should be out in July. And then I have another one coming in September. And that will do that one arc I was talking about for that new series.
Cool.
And then towards the end of the year, I'm going to do Diluted Lines. I travel a lot doing conventions. I leave tomorrow for Emerald City Comic Con.
Nice.
And then I come back from Emerald City, which I do love Emerald City. I've only been once before, so I'm looking forward to going. When I come back, I'm home for a week, and then I leave for my favorite con, which is Planet Comic Con in Kansas City, Missouri.
And are you doing these cons because in addition to being an author and illustrator, you also work for a publisher? So are
Yes.
you going for yourself for these, or with
Sometimes for a wide variety. So Kansas City I lived in for years. My son was born there. My son turned 16 here soon. And we travel, so I might do Phoenix Comic Con this year, and I'll be at FanX, both of them. The other convention I do every year is I do San Diego Comic Con. I'm volunteer staff for the Eisner Awards, which is the comic book awards. Jackie Estrada runs that, so I help with the awards. I'm one of the ushers and helping with the green room and the staffing and such.
Fun.
And I've been doing that, I think this is my 6th year. It's either my 5th or 6th year.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun, and I get to meet and hang out with a lot of people in the comics industry.
How long have you been writing?
I started writing in late 2002 when I found out I was pregnant with my son. I was kind of burned out from being an art director for years, and I thought this would be a good way. And so I wrote on my own for about 7 or 8 years.
That's really cool. So when you started illustrating your tarot cards, did you already start when the book was already out, or did you kind of think of these and know as you were writing the book that you were going to create them?
Well, I did not know this. The reason I did this is because of this card here.
So the illusionist, okay.
So it's the #1 card. I got to the last chapter, and that's when I introduced the tarot. And I didn't want to use the magician, because in this particular world, they would look at that as a human doing tricks. An illusionist is a power that was lost in their world centuries ago. This card represents this first book here. This one represents
The second
this
book.
second book. And the dragon is, there are multiple dragons in this book. And strength seemed like the family symbol also of this family is the dragon. So for strength, it seemed like it would make a lot of sense to use that card.
That is so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to me and showing me your cards, and I'm really excited to get more into your stuff. And thank you for joining us here on the Book Break.
What the Single Eye sees actually as individual sermons that I gave in sacrament meeting. It got to the point where I was sending out dozens of copies of the talks, and I thought maybe I should organize them into a book. And so I hope people who read the book feel like they have a better understanding of what are faith, hope, and charity. I hope you enjoy it. You can find it at barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com.